All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power, and I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. What a weekend to be a professional bodybuilding fan or a bodybuilding fan in general. A lot of stories today. The first story that I have for you guys, Nick Walker. We've been talking about him a lot lately. He's been prepping for the North Americans where he was going to be attempting to get his pro card. Well, I've got good news. Nick Walker not only won the overall at the NPC North Americans, but he was one of 4 people in bodybuilding to earn their pro card. So Nick Walker is now your newest IFBB pro. I definitely think he deserves it. I've said for a very long time now that out of all the amateur bodybuilders in the NPC, Nick Walker looks the furthest along in terms of muscular development. Now, my advice to Nick would be this. Watch the midsection. I don't think Nick needs to put on a whole lot of size becoming a pro. I think he already has the muscle mass and the size to really be competitive with other men's open pros right now. So my advice would be don't worry about putting on a bunch of size now that you're a pro. Focus on conditioning. Watch the midsection. Because while I think Nick has a fantastic physique, great arms, great legs, he brought the conditioning at this show, the midsection is something he needs to watch. There were certain shots that I saw him hitting during the North Americans that I thought were a little bit not flattering for his midsection. I can't be overwhelmingly positive. I got to give some kind of critique here. So watch the midsection, focus on conditioning. I think Nick has a real chance of possibly qualifying for the Olympia if he intends to continue competing and go straight into a pro show. You got Cali, you've got Chicago. If I were Nick, I'm already in good shape. I just competed. I would go straight to California and do the Cali Pro Show next weekend. That's what I would do if I were him. He has a chance to actually win a show and get to the Olympia stage if that's what he wants to do, or if he wants to shut it down for the rest of the year. And I got to say, this show was fantastic. They did the North Americans outside on a stage outdoors. It's a Gary Udit show. My first show, actually, the first show I ever competed in was a Gary Udit show. So he did a great job in being able to still put on the North Americans, put on a great show. They did a live stream, which was fantastic, and doing the show outside to protect the athletes. It was in like a tent outside. Fantastically run show. I'm happy about the results. So congratulations to Nick Walker, your 2020 NPC North Americans overall champion and your newest IFBB professional bodybuilder. Congrats, Nick. You really deserve it. So next up in the news, Denis Cyplenkov, who is your current strict curl world record holder with a 249.5-pound strict curl. That is the world record. Recently, he's had some health issues. He's had some setbacks. He's downsized. He's lost some strength. But recently, he posted a curl video, a seated curl video, training for the strict curl again with a 120-kilogram seated curl. Denis is getting back to it. He's getting his strength back. And he's certainly becoming someone that looks like he could probably defend his record this year if it comes down to it. I think there's going to be a big strict curl competition before the end of the year, and hopefully Denis is going to be in it. 120 kilograms for the record is 264.5 pounds, which is almost 20 pounds heavier than, 15 pounds heavier than his current world record. So Denis has still got it. The champ is still here. So I'm glad to see that Denis still has this level of strength. And speaking of impressive strict curls, SchoolBoy, who Larry Wheels will be arm wrestling later on in this year. He's an arm wrestling champion. He's a pretty damn impressive arm wrestler. He's done some pretty amazing things. He did a strict curl. I believe he's only 19 or 20 years old. He recently did a strict curl of 180 pounds, 82 kgs, very strict head, shoulders, and butt against the wall, which is as strict as you can get with the strict curl. And that's the crazy impressive thing about this guy. He's young. He doesn't look that big, but his strength is insane for his age and his size. And he's got a really damn good strict curl. 180 pounds is nothing to shake a stick at. Now, next up in the news, Maxx Charles. So Maxx Charles, I think, possibly was overlooked here at the New York Pro. Now, the New York Pro is not over at the time that I'm posting this video, so make sure you still buy that live stream and watch the finals. But as of prejudging, Maxx Charles looks to have been outside of the top 4. Maxx Charles, arguably one of the best conditioned guys in this show. He looked fantastic. Max looked amazing. And for him not to be in that top call, I was very surprised not to see him in the top 4. So after watching this video, stay tuned for the finals tonight and see where Maxx ends up, because if you look at Max's physique, he is on. His lower body obviously isn't comparable to his upper body. His upper body is much better than his lower body, and that's why he tends to place lower in shows, even though he comes in with this crazy level of conditioning. I know Milos Sarshev is coaching him, and Milos was not happy about the fact that he was not in that top 4 call-out in prejudging. I think Maxx looked fantastic, so I just wanted to note that in this video. Now, next up in the news, we have the results from the first finals from the New York Pro. So it's a one-day show. They split the finals into 2 different categories. So at the first finals, in 212, you had my boy Jason Lowe going head-to-head with Bo Lewis. Bo Lewis wound up taking the top spot there, so Bo Lewis won the 212 category at the New York Pro. But more importantly, or more interestingly to me, classic physique. My buddy Logan Franklin won the classic physique category at this year's New York Pro. Logan Franklin, as you guys know, he moved up from men's physique. He made the switch to classic. He did the Tampa Pro last year. Didn't go how he planned it to go. And this year at the New York Pro, I think he looked incredible. Now, the key word looking at Logan's physique, I think this year, was conditioning. I think his conditioning was the reason why he won this show. Although it wasn't the deepest classic physique lineup, I think he took this lineup by a long shot. I think he was by far the best classic competitor in the New York Pro lineup. Now, a lot of people have said this, and they thought that he looked a little bit small and that he needed more muscle mass to be competitive at the Olympia. Well, that is what we're about to find out, because Logan has now qualified for the 2020 Classic Physique Olympia. We know that he's fired shots at Chris Bumstead. He's been talking a big game, and so far he has backed it up. He came into this pro show, won, qualified for the Olympia. Now we're going to see how he looks on stage next to the best of the best, Chris Bumstead, Breon Ainsley. These guys, they are the best classic physique guys, and Logan Franklin, while he might have won in this lineup, we're going to see how he looks compared to the best at this year's Mr. Olympia. And I would agree that Logan could put on some size, but at the same time, I do like the fact that conditioning is being rewarded here, and that I think he won because he had such damn good conditioning. I do think he could put on some size. I agree with that comment. And to compete with Chris Bumstead, I think he's going to need a little bit more size, to be honest. But his conditioning was fantastic here. He's got a great structure for the division, and I think he deserved this victory, and he deserved that Olympia qualification. And we're going to get to see him try to prove himself at this year's Mr. Olympia. So shout out to Logan, and congrats on the victory. And that is going to wrap it up for this video today, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, in fact, enjoy it. Stay tuned to my channel because the New York Pro is not over yet. We did not have the results for men's open bodybuilding, so that will be coming later tonight. So make sure you stay tuned. Subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed already. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And as always, Nick Strength and Power signing out.